All right, welcome back to Daybreak Africa. Right now, we are on to our interview segment. And like you know, it's our Health Thursday. And today, we're going to be discussing a very important topic, which is food allergy and intolerance, the effects on the immune system and the treatment options. Of course, we won't be doing this alone in the studio. Today, we have a beautiful, dark-skinned dietitian who is joining us in the studio today. She goes by the name Gbemisola Ogundipe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Honey, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Okay, you look fat. It's giving everything.
Everything. It's giving dietitian.
Okay.
So if you are this, you know, because you're mindful of what you eat, you know, you pick food, you don't just eat anything. That's why all this glow looks and okay. Can you give us this thing?
Don't worry, after.
Okay, now we'll let's dive into the conversation. So today we're looking at food allergies and intolerances, and then, you know, as it relates to our immune system and the treatment options. Of course, a lot of people would say food allergy is when the immune system reacts to food, which is usually harmless. Let's just put it that way. But probably for more clarity, so can you just differentiate food allergy and intolerance?
Okay, so food allergy basically is when your body sees a particular food as toxic. You know, basically our body, one way or the other, try to fight for us, our immune system. Okay, so once our body sees that particular food, what happens, it actually like sends a signal that this food is harmful to me. So, come and defend me. That is what is going on. So, for normal people, it is not like everything that things happen to people, but for some people, by the time the body sends that signal, it starts fighting back and you start having some other symptoms for the person. While intolerance is basically digestive enzymes. You lack lactase, you lack this or that. Your body is not allergic to it, but just saying I cannot tolerate it because I don't have a digestive enzyme to digest what is inside the food you are eating. That's like the basic explanation. Okay,
but over time, I think we've just had people talk about food allergies.
Yes.
I'm allergic to this, and then when you hear people, the kind of food people are allergic to. Sometimes, well, how can you be allergic to crayfish? Personally, because I'm a typical,
crayfish lover.
So how can you say you're allergic to crayfish? And then I'm allergic to milk, I'm allergic to yogurt, I'm allergic to... So, and me, I don't know, since I've grown at least, I don't think something has ever happened to me, and probably is as a result of probably what I've eaten or not. So can you just run us through some symptoms, basically? I think I've seen in movies. I don't think I've really experienced it at one-on-one contact with people where they would just say, she's allergic to this. Okay, I'm allergic to garlic. Don't cook with garlic where I am. Don't cook with this. Don't cook with that. So what are the basic symptoms? And usually, I don't know, is it the same with, is the symptoms of allergy same as
intolerance? Okay, when it comes to allergy, we have the mild and we have the severe. The mild is close to the intolerance, meaning that bloating, diarrhea, maybe vomiting for some people. When it comes to the severe one that can land one in the hospital, some experience shortness of breath, like there's swelling in their tongue, there's swelling on the eyes, there's swelling on the face, some people can't even breathe. They have like something called an asthma attack. It's not asthma attack, but it's close to it, so they can't breathe, and some even lose consciousness, whereby they have to rush them to the hospital. So that is when it comes to allergy. It's always mostly severe. That's why most of them can't even go close to the food at all. But for intolerance, max, you land in the toilet, diarrhea, or you experience bloating, or maybe vomit for some time, and that's all.
No. Okay, so we know that especially here in Nigeria, many people have not really, come to the knowledge of the fact that there's difference between allergies and then, intolerance. And many times, most times people say it as a flex, I'm allergic to this, I'm allergic to that.
And the thing is just a word you can use.
Many times, and if you ask them, okay, what exactly are you allergic to, and what are your symptoms when you, probably eat this kind of meal or probably take milk and all of that, they can't even say anything. So how can we, probably detect these allergies even before we take the milk? For some people who are allergic to say milk, how do they detect it? Maybe probably at the hospital or somewhere. Are there any ways that this can be seen before it happens?
Okay, so when it comes to intolerance and allergy, sometimes mostly intolerance is easier to work with intolerance, meaning that maybe you don't tolerate milk. Are you sure you don't tolerate milk? So why not just try it again? Let's see what happens when you take the milk. So what quantity of the milk did you even take before you say you're intolerant to the milk? But as you said earlier, most people think intolerance is the same thing as allergy. It's different. So now most people, when they say I'm allergic to milk, most times they're intolerant to milk. So now how do you know again is, okay, let's try putting a drop of milk on your tongue. When you swallow it, what happens? Do you have that same symptoms you think you had when you took like a whole cup of milk? So what you can do again is like elimination. Okay, let me eliminate from my diet. But at the same time, you can't do it alone without a dietitian. Because if you do that, you may actually be losing some nutrients which you get from that particular food. So it's better you go and see your dietitian to tell you, okay, let's try this, let's try that, let's try this. So we are sure that at least maybe you are intolerant to milk, or you're intolerant to fish, or any other thing. Rather, you're intolerant to alcohol. Some people are intolerant to alcohol. They can't even take alcohol at all. Some they're intolerant to wheat. They can't even take it at all. So you get, you actually have to work with a professional for you to know. Also, for you to like know properly if it's an allergy or it is intolerance, there's a test you can do. That's the immunoglobulin E test. So now what happens is that you are going to do is a blood test, and you're going to check if the immune that fights back, if it is more in the body. So now if the immune is more in the body, that means it's trying to fight back something, then you can say it is an allergy. But if it's within the normal range and it's not so high, then you can say maybe it's an intolerance.
Okay, let's I will be trying to digress a bit, but then let's look at food poisoning. Of course, I've heard cases whereby people will tell you that, you know, I'm in the hospital, what happened? Food poisoning. And in my head, I'm trying to place it. Food allergy, intolerance, food poisoning. And I'm like, so which one? Because now, some people that they have severe allergies, they actually get to the hospital. It's been treated from the hospital. And same as food poisoning. And like you said from your explanation, intolerance, probably you end in the, in the toilet or something. So I really want to know, what's the place of food poisoning? And how does is it the same? Is there a similarity between food allergies and food intolerance?
So for food poisoning, the thing is, there's something in the food that is actually getting spoiled. For example, let's take meat pie, for example. Now, we mostly recommend that once your meat pie or your pastries are cold, it's better you reheat them. Because something we call salmonella that is growing inside already. And that particular bacteria cannot lead to food poisoning when consumed too much. So now, like the symptoms of food poisoning is vomiting, stooling. Now the stooling can even be can have mucus in it. Then constant vomiting. Even when you don't have anything in your stomach, you just feel like showing up. Person has to end up in the hospital for proper treatment. So food poisoning, food allergy, food intolerance are three different things, but they can have similar symptoms. But mostly food poisoning is always vomiting and stooling.
Okay, let's go back to our houses, our homes. Now, as a young child, growing up, you know, I feel some child right now in their house, they don't eat certain foods. And their parents are aware of the fact that they don't like this. In fact, if they are going to visit people for maybe holidays or something, they tell them, please, my son doesn't eat this, doesn't eat that. Now, for people like us now, I'm asking for myself. For people like us, I didn't grow up to, I don't think I can remember any scenario whereby I was taken to the hospital as a result of maybe food intolerance, food allergies or something. But for some reasons, I just feel like I don't like beans. Is it that I'm not, my immune system, I don't tolerate beans. Or where I'm driving at exactly is the fact that, now, at what point do you discover this? Now, as a growing child, let's say your parents are not educated. They just give this food to everybody in the family. And this is you trying to fight with the food, like, it's just not going, but you just have to eat it. And then you eat it. Whether you're allergic to it, I don't know whether this allergy works, maybe classes of ohms. Maybe for the average family,
they don't have it. Then the rich folks, they have it.
But for the low, I don't understand. Maybe it just happens. I really want to know. So at what point would you be able to figure out whether it's you yourself figuring this out or your parent figuring it out that I think this boy or this girl is allergic to this.
Okay, so not eating or not liking a particular food does not mean you're allergic to it. You might not just like the way the food looks like, or you may not like the way the food was prepared, or it was not appealing to you. So sometimes that you see a particular food, I'm like, no, there's nothing you're going to tell me, I will not eat this food. Maybe the way it is presented, maybe the way of preparation, and maybe that maybe you have a bad experience with the food. Maybe you've taken beans one day and you were really stooling, and like, never in my life again, I'm going to go back to taking beans.
But is that not my tummy not tolerating it? Is that not my stomach?
No, it may not be the beans at that moment, and it could be the beans, but something you've eaten maybe few hours before you ate the beans. It could be the beans because beans also has gas. You get beans has gas, has fiber. So it might just be that at that moment in time, your body just sits well with it. It does not mean you're like intolerant to beans. For instance, okay, yes, I'm intolerant to beans. You've taken it over time. And anytime you take beans, I'm always bloated. Anytime I take beans, I'm always like fatting. Things like that. It happens normally for beans because you actually have, it has gas and you have to actually pass out gas. When it's like on a constant basis, you know, actually this is like intolerance for me. Now for a child, for some children, it's not as if they don't want to eat the food. It might be the way the mother has presented the food when the child was younger. It comes down to, okay, a child does not want to eat this food, and you start eating that child. Before you know it, the child will just be like, what are you going to do to me? I will not still eat this food. Max, you will beat me. I will not still eat the food. So sometimes mothers need to know that you don't have to beat a child to eat the food. You can actually cajole the child. Okay, see, mommy is eating this food. Try and eat it. It's sweet. Some children would want to try. While some children, no matter what you do, they will tell you, no, I do not want to try. So it's basically like what you see is like what you feel like eating. Presentation matters a lot again when it comes to food. For someone like me, something we call ekuru in Yoruba, I don't know, like white beans. Like me now, there's no how you want to present that food to me. I will not eat it, but I can eat beans. But the fact that it is white beans, you now have to use your hand to mash it. Using hand to mash it alone pisses me off. Like, why do I have to use my hand to mash my food? You are mashing up my food, like you are spoiling the beauty of the food. So that preparation alone, it is a no for me. I won't eat it. So when some children see the way prepare that particular food, they might tell them that I'm not going to eat this food that mom is going to give to me.
What of the part of early detection from parents, whereby you know that, okay, I think this is what happened to the child, and then you can probably seek for first aid or probably take them to the hospital. Now I'm talking based on
allergy.
Yes, allergies, and based on our parents. You know, some of them are not informed as to, okay, there's something called intolerance, there's something called allergies and all of that. So I really want to know, how do we detect, how do you think parents can easily detect their child?
Okay, so for most allergies, either rashes comes out on the skin of the child, or eyes, or eczema, or swollen face. There's someone I know, anytime she eats a lot of sodium, she has swollen face. Like, all those little mild, they are just like parents should always pay attention to their children. So anytime you're just saying rashes on your child's body, there's no heat, the weather is cold, and what is causing this rash on this child's body. At the same time, don't be in an hurry as a parent to try new foods at once for a child. Try to start them one after the other. So that will give you like a good picture of, okay, when I was giving this child particular food, nothing happened to this child. When I added peanuts to this child's diet, something started happening to this child. That gives you, okay, yes, there's something wrong. Then you try it again, that same thing happened to that child. Okay, it seems child is actually allergic to peanuts, or she's actually allergic to milk. But milk one is faster to show than any other one, because every child takes milk, even from the mother, from buying milk outside. So it's easier for them to know. Just pay attention to your child, and when you are introducing new foods, pay attention. Okay,
so thank you very much. When it comes to allergies and then intolerances, now the thing is, can a food be made, maybe, let's say for example, you talked about beans, saying you don't like ekuru, but you can eat beans. So now when you cook a particular meal in probably a different way or different manner, do you still have, or can a person still have this intolerance or these allergies basically. So now, for example, I like milk, but I'm very much intolerant to milk. So can I take yogurt, or can I take something that has to do with maybe something else, probably that
like
has
cheese?
Yes, cheese and anything that has milk in it, and then I will not be intolerant to it.
So for you to know that, you have to try it. You are intolerant to milk, or you are allergic to milk, you have to try if your body will tolerate the yogurt or the cheese that comes from milk. You cannot know without trying. So you have to try it first. If you're having the same result, then you know milk and dairy products is a no-no for you. Then you go to your form of plant-based milk, like almond, soy.
Okay.
Some people actually are allergic to soy again.
Yes. Yes.
Some people are allergic to soy again. So if you're allergic to soy, that means you are limited to only almond.
Milk
At all.
Oh well, but milk is also rich in calcium and vitamin D. So if you want to do that, you have to work with a dietitian again. So you have a replacement for your calcium intake and your vitamin D.
So let's talk about the proportion by which these foods are presented. Can it really trigger allergies? Now, you cited an example earlier about trying out something with, let's say, a teaspoon and then using a cup. Now, does it have this allergies, intolerance, does it have to do with the proportion the food comes? If it's a small quantity or if it's in larger quantity? Some people, for their teas, they like milk in moderate proportion. Some, they like it, overly creamy. Yeah, exactly. They like creamy teas and all of that. So does it have to do, all these allergies and all, does it have to do with the proportion of whatever the food is?
Okay, when it comes to allergy, the tiniest amount of that food will trigger you. Like if you just taste peanuts, like you didn't even know there was no peanuts in whatever you are taking, the tiniest amount of it to send the trigger to your body to fight it. When it comes to intolerance might have to do with the quantity that you are taking in. So you might actually be able to tolerate little amount of milk, not so much amount of milk. You can be able to tolerate little amount of soy milk also, not so much of it. When it comes to allergy, very tiny bit of it is going to show symptoms immediately.
Okay, in your line of duty as a dietitian, what are the basic myths that people have actually come up with to, all in the name of allergies and intolerance? Probably they will tell you things like, in our house, yes, in the family of Oso Kumolu, we don't, when you eat snail, when you eat snail, any child that is giving birth to at that moment, they are not smart. They are so sluggish. So I really want to know, does that really work with science and all?
No, it doesn't. It's just what you've been made to believe. So whatever you think one way or the other is what you're going to be saying. If you think that the snail that your mother ate while she was pregnant with you is the one making you like sluggish, that's what you always think is going to happen to you. Basically, anything you believe and you're actually seeing what comes to mind, okay, it's a snail that your mother ate, that's why it's making you slow. It may not be the snail, maybe something else going on with the child. You may have to do some other tests for the child. Maybe the child is not like an outspoken person. It may be that the child is just a reserved person on a norm. It may be that you actually killed the morale of that child by shouting on the child so much you get. So it does not have to do with the food. Actually, snail is actually very rich in iron.
So are you trying to say that food allergies doesn't originate from, let's say, our family background?
That is if it has happened to someone. Like maybe your dad is allergic to peanuts, then it could happen to a child.
Oh, that's my dad. What if, I just want to say.
Or your grandparents.
That's my grandparents. This is me. I crave this. I don't know. The people that are really allergic to, do they really crave that thing that makes, I just want to know. That's just.
Yes, the thing is that for asthmatic people, we tell them, okay, asthmatic people don't go close to frying stuff, don't go close to some things, but it is there you will find them. It's just like the way the body doesn't like restrictions. So if you are telling me, don't go there, what happens? You actually want to go there. You want to say what is going to happen to me if I go there. When it comes to allergy, if you keep on trying it, that means maybe you're ready to die. You get. So, and you don't want that. So it's, when it comes to allergy, you are not going to go near it. But your tolerance, you can still like, let me shift small, let me try. Maybe it's max, I'll go and use the toilet. Or max, I will vomit.
Is this allergy thing, Anita, is this so much of a big deal? Is this so much of a problem?
Yeah,
does it really kill? Does it really kill like diabetes?
No.
Something we can still manage?
Like if the person goes to the hospital on time, that's if, you know, imagine someone takes peanuts and you cannot breathe properly, what happens?
So,
oxygen is not coming in, and it's not like, it's not going out. So what are you doing? If you go to the hospital on time, what happens to that kind of person? Person actually die.
What are the first aid measures that can be taken?
Basic treatment options.
When it comes to things like that, when it comes to the shortness of breath and all that, just try to take the person to the nearest hospital as soon as possible.
Okay, so we don't have any, say,
there's no
maybe
basic treatment.
Not that I know of.
A drug that can quickly be administered.
When it comes to someone that you are used to having that kind of allergy, and maybe your mom is there, or your dad is, your sibling is there, or you yourself, you carry your drugs around, and it's easier for you to say, okay, like signal to your bag that, okay, help me bring a particular thing. I was like asthmatic patient, help me bring out my inhaler so that I can take it. That's when you know you are like allergic to a particular thing. But if you do not know, or maybe you have not seen a proper health practitioner, your doctor, to give you your first aid treatment, there's nothing anyone can actually do at that moment. Just take person to the hospital as soon as possible, because you can't just like be popping drugs when you don't even know what the drugs is used for.
Okay, so from everything we've actually been saying, we've enjoyed the conversation, but then let me just ask this. From observation, I don't know if I'm the only one, but from observation, I think it's only females that tend to always be, I'm allergic to this, I'm allergic to what's up with our male gender? Is it that
we have paparazzi? No, female who have paparazzi. I think male, sorry to cut you short, male, they actually pay less attention to their body like we do. So, you know, when it comes to even as a woman, your hormones are always up and down, up and down. Sometimes you want to even menstruate, you want to ovulate, you're actually allergic to something at that point in time. You might even take something at that moment, you're actually purging. It's also happened to you. So it's just like a woman thing, because we're very, very sensitive to our body and our environment.
Guys say I'm tolerant to this, I'm allergic to. I think anything goes for the men.
That's what men actually happens to, but you know, naturally for men, they are not so outspoken.
Maybe not this side of the country.
I was actually reading.
Men are not outspoken about how they feel.
I was reading a tweet. I think early this week, and then I saw a guy who tweeted that he's allergic to. This is not even about food, but he's allergic to perfumes, anything strong perfumes and scents. And then he sent a picture where he had swollen face, you know, it was so swollen, his face was literally so big because he inhaled a particular scent, you know, around the work environment. So I think that it comes from the fact that except it happens in extreme cases, that's when the guys can really say, oh, I think something is wrong, I'm allergic to this and I'm allergic to that. But naturally,
but ladies, we sing it as
guys don't want to come out to their weakness, but ladies don't mind. I'm allergic. It's as if you're even forming.
I'm sure if a guy is allergic to something, let's say they have been served food, like a guy would rather eat the food or turn the food down than making a noise about it. Like,
a woman, I know, I'm allergic.
Or they start asking questions. Please, what's that? Is that a fish?
No, please take it away.
But men, you know, men can easily take the food and just be like, okay, the crayfish day. You just push the crayfish aside and eat other things. But really, that's why I had to ask that question. Like, what's up with us? Like, is our hormones?
Is our agenda? We just like paparazzi. We just like to be seen. But men are not like that. They're more reserved than a woman.
Okay, so
as we wrap up now, please, what's your parting shot?
Okay, so but before your parting shot, I also want to ask that, okay, apart from food, can we also be allergic to, you know, of course, we know scent of people. Many people are allergic to scent and all that, but also drugs. Are there allergies when it comes to drug intake as well? Yes.
There are allergies to drug intake. There are even allergies to dust, molds in the house. When a particular place, maybe like they painted the wall and it's really like peeling off. You know that stuff that comes out. Some people are allergic to it.
So are allergic to like clothes, certain clothes.
I've not heard of that. So maybe there's someone that's allergic to it.
I know someone is allergic to tap water. I know someone is allergic to, you know, any drug that has queen. queen, just the last word queen at the end. So yes, the person
anything queen, I can't take.
The time the person took that drug, he said he almost ran mad after taking the drug, and since then he had to stay away from all those type of drugs.
Yeah, I think this allergy thing is it's kind of poses certain threats to people that are really not aware of. Okay, so as a dietitian that you are, so what's your final parting shot for us on this topic and your message to the viewers?
Okay, so what I would say is that when you have an allergy or if you have a food intolerance, what you should always do, always read your nutrition label. That thing at the back of any product you're buying. They are always right.
I'm not speaking from speaking of somebody watching this program. Like, okay, we should sit down and study them.
Yes, because there's also written there, very tiny, allergy. They could write soy, they could write gluten. So if you don't read them, you never know that product actually contains that particular thing you're allergic to or you're intolerant to.
Are you trying to say that we shouldn't eat food that doesn't have label?
Yes, actually, I think as time goes on, I would really advise people to not eat foods that don't have good nutrition labels, because you can't tell me that I should eat your product and I don't know what I'm eating. Like it's crap. Like I don't know the amount of sugar that is in your product. I know the amount of fat in your product, and you won't just be eating it. It's not nice. So it's always nice to actually read your nutrition labels.
But you can always figure that out when you're eating.
You can know.
You can know that there's too much maggi in this, right? There's too much salt in this.
There's some foods that you can actually eat and you won't see that there's so much sodium in them. Because they didn't put salt, they put sodium something. So it's not going to be salty, but there's a lot of sodium in the food.
Okay, are you done advising us?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you so much for your time on the program. We really enjoyed every bit of the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, viewers, I'm sure you enjoyed every bit of the discussion with our own dietitian, Gbemisola Ogundipe. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, the program continues.